So on December 13th, we had a shadowproof article that came out in defense of Jordan Chariton. It was titled, "The Young Turks Reporter Fired Over Sexual Allegations Sues the Huffington Post for Defamation." And they also included the actual court file, and I'll be going through some of those too. But just to summarize, the article starts with former TYT reporter Jordan Chariton filed a defamation and libel lawsuit against Huffington Post and its owner, Oath, over a contributor post that publicized sexual allegations against him. The post was taken down by editors but not immediately removed from Google's indexing for news websites. It ultimately led to the Young Turks firing Jordan Chariton on November 17th. And then they also include the PDF, so we urge our listeners to check out this article and read the court case yourself as well. And I'll be going over some of the bigger points too. So the article continues. HuffPost contributor articles do not get indexed and show up in Google search engines until the editor at HuffPost approves it or decides to promote it, the lawsuit contends. The article in question was indexed to Google not once, not twice, but 3 times over on Google's regular page, on Google's mobile site, and on Google's news. After the promoting editor took overt acts to enter each listing on Google. So to kind of go over some of the major points that Bill Moran, who is an attorney for Chariton, he had told Shadowproof that the Huffington Post will likely argue their content is covered under Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act of 1999, which cover folks like Reddit and Twitter users. If someone says something horrible on Twitter, it's not attributable to Twitter. But Moran insists Huffington Post isn't covered by the law in this instance. I don't know if you guys have any comments before kind of diving into...
Well, again, I think it's, once again, devastating to really hear this kind of story come out. I said it last episode, the reason why us three and a few other people got involved in journalism in the first place is because of Jordan Chariton and the large stories that he broke out, especially during in 2016. And it's a little difficult to hear this, but we have to push forward and really get to the bottom of this. And there's I guess there's aggressive behavior on both sides, and we just got to really hear it out and get to the truth of it. I mean, this is the best. That's the only thing I can really comment on. It's really difficult to hear this kind of story.
Yeah, so this case is going to be interesting because of Lauren's going to go into it, but the way it's being presented, the angle that they're using, which is more or less that Huffington Post greenlit something that they should not have greenlit, and as a result, it caused defamation. So this will be an interesting case because it's very hard to win libel suits in America. It's very hard to win libel suits. I mean, the bar, as far as I'm aware, is almost to the extent where you have to have someone on a recording maliciously saying, ha, 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 we ruined that person's life by writing this. But we'll see how it plays out. Lauren?
Yeah.
Yes. So going into more of the context, so it was filed by the New York County Clerk on December 13th, and the complaint that we're seeing here is libel per se, general defamation, libel by implication, and neglect injury to reputation. Let's see. Yeah, as far as the nature, they list the nature of this action. It's primarily the plaintiff seeks injunctive relief and monetary damages for defamation and libel per se, as well as injunctive relief and monetary damages for general defamation, and again by implication, and damages for neglect. As far as the facts that they list in this document, when they address Oath, who a subsidiary of Verizon Inc., is the owner of Huffington Post, whose business model is predicted on people with the title of nobility, the HuffPost contributor, after an approval process. And they're saying the indexing libelous hoax on Google and Google News to expand their reach and to declare these hoax as journalism, tossing advertising all over those libelous hoaxes for money, and then claiming inaccurately that even though they have destroyed a person's life by endorsing, pushing, and fundamentally altering the nature of a hoax publication, that they are immune from libel lawsuits under Section 230 of the Communication Decency Act.
So, I mean, I think it's a good base. They go over, 50 different specific points that they're bringing forward. I think that the best, if you want to read this document, where can someone find this document?
They do link it in the Shadowproof article. It's maybe just a couple lines in, and it takes you directly to this document. And yes, I believe there are actually 60.
60. So yeah, we're this is just a little breaking news story. We won't want to go into it too much, but we just want to follow up from on this. We're going to keep with this story, but it looks like we said last week, or I said last week, that we haven't seen any action of litigation yet, and now we see it. So
a date hasn't been determined just yet.
Yeah.
Right.
So
we're going to see how it works out.
Right. So what we're going to do is we're going to do another follow through, and if you're interested in checking out the 2 videos that we did about this story last week's episode, check it out on the HardLensMedia YouTube page.
You're watching HardLensMedia.